The hum of the airport buzzed around me as I leaned against the counter of the rental car kiosk, fumbling with my phone. It had been a long week at the office, and I was looking forward to some downtime. My flight home was in 2 hours, but a nagging feeling compelled me to check my email, a habit I usually avoided while traveling. Little did I know, that decision would unravel the delicate threads of my life. My inbox was flooded with the usual work memos, promotional emails, and a reservation confirmation that immediately caught my eye. The subject line read, "Thank you for choosing Sunset Bay Resort." Confusion swept over me. I hadn't booked any trip to Sunset Bay, not recently, anyway. I opened the email and scanned its contents. The reservation was for a luxurious suite at a beachside resort in Miami, booked under my name and using my frequent traveler rewards points. The dates matched this upcoming weekend, and the contact information listed was unmistakably my wife's. A cold wave of dread washed over me as I reread the details. I dialed her number immediately, my hands trembling. "Hey, honey," I said as casually as I could. "Did you book a trip to Miami?" There was a pause on the other end before she responded. "Miami? No, why would I do that?" Her voice was calm, almost too calm. I'd been married to Jessica for 7 years. I knew the nuances of her voice. The subtle changes that hinted at a lie. This was one of those times. "That's strange," I said, playing along for now. "I got an email about a reservation at Sunset Bay Resort. Maybe it's some kind of mistake." "Must be," she said quickly. "You should call them and get it sorted out." The call ended, leaving me with more questions than answers. Jessica's reaction didn't sit right with me. The seed of suspicion that had been planted began to grow. I decided to dig deeper. First, I logged into my travel rewards account. Sure enough, the points for the reservation had been deducted. I checked the booking history, and there it was, Sunset Bay Resort, Miami, booked 2 weeks ago. The guest name listed alongside mine was a man named Alex Carter. I felt my stomach churn. Who was Alex Carter? My mind raced through possibilities, each one worse than the last. I'd trusted Jessica implicitly, but now that trust was eroding by the second. Determined to uncover the truth, I called the resort. "Hi, this is Richard Calloway. I'm calling about a reservation under my name for this weekend. I'd like to confirm some details," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "Of course, Mr. Calloway," the receptionist replied. "The reservation is for a deluxe suite, checking in this Friday and checking out Monday. Is there something specific you'd like to know?" "Yes," I said. "Could you tell me the contact number listed for the reservation?" She hesitated. "I'm afraid I can't disclose that information without verification, but I can confirm if it matches your account details." "Perfect," I said and rattled off Jessica's number. "That's correct," she confirmed. My heart sank. Jessica had used my account and points to book a romantic getaway for herself and another man. I thanked the receptionist and ended the call, my mind whirling. I needed proof before confronting her. The next step was tracking her phone. We'd enabled location sharing years ago for safety reasons. Pulling up the app, I saw her location. She was at her office downtown, just as she claimed she would be. That evening, I played the part of the oblivious husband. Jessica came home, kissed me on the cheek, and asked about my trip. I gave her vague answers, feigning exhaustion. She didn't mention Miami. Over the next few days, I gathered evidence. I combed through her social media and messages on our shared devices but found nothing incriminating. Jessica was careful. Too careful. By Friday morning, I had a plan. My flight had landed late the previous night, and I hadn't told Jessica I was home. Instead, I rented a car and drove straight to Miami, determined to confront her and this Alex Carter in person. The resort was a sprawling complex of palm trees, turquoise pools, and pristine white sand. I parked a short distance away and walked to the main lobby, my heart pounding. The receptionist recognized me immediately. "Welcome, Mr. Calloway. Checking in." She asked with a warm smile. Not yet, I said. Actually, I'm meeting someone here. Could you tell me if they've already checked in? Alex Carter. Her expression turned apologetic. I'm sorry, but I can't disclose guest information. I nodded, expecting as much. No problem. Thank you. I spent the next hour staking out the lobby, watching as guests arrived and departed. Finally, I saw her. Jessica stepped out of a cab, dressed in a flowing sundress, her face glowing with excitement. A tall, athletic man followed her, carrying their luggage. Alex Carter, I presumed. They didn't notice me as they checked in and headed toward their suite. My stomach twisted as I watched them walk arm in arm. It was real. My wife was cheating on me. I followed at a distance, careful not to be seen. Their suite was on the 3rd floor, overlooking the ocean. Once they entered, I waited, my anger boiling. When I couldn't take it any longer, I knocked on the door. Jessica opened it, her smile freezing when she saw me. Richard? What are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing, I said, pushing past her into the room. Alex stood by the window, looking startled. And who's this? Alex Carter. Jessica's face turned pale. It's not what it looks like, she stammered. Really? I snapped. Because it looks like my wife used my travel points to fund a romantic getaway with another man. Alex raised his hands defensively. Look, man, I didn't know she was married. She told me you two were separated. I turned to Jessica. Is that true? Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't know how to tell you. Things haven't been good between us for a while. So your solution was to cheat? I said, my voice breaking. To lie and betray me? Jessica didn't answer, her silence speaking volumes. Alex awkwardly excused himself, leaving us alone in the suite. Suddenly, Jessica fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. I was lonely, Richard. You've been distant for months, always at work or traveling. I felt invisible. Her words stung, but they didn't excuse her betrayal. And instead of talking to me, you chose this? I gestured around the suite, my voice rising. You destroyed us, Jessica. For what? Some fling. Jessica's cries filled the room. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I didn't mean to hurt you. The rawness of her regret momentarily softened my anger, but it couldn't undo the damage. Years of trust lay shattered between us. I loved you, I whispered. But I can't do this anymore. The confrontation that followed was raw and painful, years of unresolved issues spilling out. By the time I left, it was clear our marriage was over. Driving away from the resort, I felt a mix of heartbreak and relief. As I reached the edge of the city, memories of better times surfaced. I thought of the first time I'd seen Jessica, her hair catching the sunlight in a way that made my heart skip. Back then, our love had been effortless. Filled with stolen kisses under starlit skies and whispered promises of forever. Somewhere along the way, we'd lost that magic. But I knew now that I couldn't chase after what was gone. I resolved to find love again, a love that didn't require secrets or lies, one that would make my heart soar like it did in those early days. The betrayal cut deep, but it also gave me clarity. I deserved honesty and respect, and I wouldn't settle for less. As the Miami skyline faded in my rearview mirror, I felt a flicker of hope. My story wasn't over yet, and somewhere out there, my next chapter was waiting to be written.